I want to really get to the juicy stuff. We're still in the setup.
The bomb. We're not at the juicy stuff? Okay.
We got to plow ahead. So now imagine you're Attorney General Palmer. You're a pillar of the American power structure, a man of the law, a man who is already suspicious that radicals might be crawling out of every shadow. And now your home has been bombed. And how far would you go to rein this shit in? Well, it turns out really damn far. And that is where the story of the Palmer raids really begins. So let's be clear, the bombings were acts of political terror. They're horrific and completely indefensible, full stop. Investigating them and bringing the perpetrators to justice was a worthy and just goal. But as we will soon see, and as is often the case with government overreach, reasonable and just intentions can very easily warp into horrendous abuse, where the original crime becomes less a wrong to be righted and more an excuse for new and far greater injustices. Now, Palmer himself is a very interesting guy, and like all of us, a barrel of contradictions. He was pro-women's suffrage and anti-child labor, which is not exactly going out on a limb of awesomeness, but it was a different time, and that was a bit progressive. He was raised as a Quaker with pacifist leanings. Palmer had actually turned down President Wilson's offer to serve as Secretary of War, but he wasn't shy about his own presidential ambitions, and he was well aware that a few high-profile wins as Attorney General could help pave the way. So he declared radicals and communists public enemy number one, which, to be fair, probably wasn't too hard considering they just bombed his actual house. He moved very quickly. He created a new division within the Justice Department called the General Intelligence Division, later nicknamed the Radical Division, and he tapped a 24-year-old Justice Department clerk to run it. I'm going to give you one guess each who
Roy
this might
Cohn
be.
Again. It seems like Roy Cohn did everything.
He's Cohn-esque.
Cohn-esque, okay.
This is a 24-year-old J. Edgar Hoover.
Oh, Hoover, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
That guy.
Speaking of Roy Cohn, yeah.
This new division's mandate was to gather intelligence on radical organizations and their members, and which, of course, was a perfect fit for Hoover, who basically fetishized the accumulation of secrets and data on people.
What is with these closet cases? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. He already had a growing reputation as a meticulous bureaucrat with a strong anti-radical ideology. Now, with Hoover at the helm, things really spiraled quickly. That fall, the Justice Department began arresting suspected radicals, citing, of course, the Espionage Act and the Sedition Act. But on November 7th, 1919, the second anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution, which was no coincidence, Hoover and Palmer took things to a whole new level, launching a coordinated blitz across a dozen American cities, including Chicago, Boston, Cleveland, Detroit, Los Angeles, and many others. And these raids were brutal. In New York City, agents stormed a building on East 15th Street known as the Russian People's House, a modest community hub that doubled as a union office, cafeteria, and school for recent immigrants. Inside, workers, teachers, and young students were finishing their day as federal agents laid siege to the building in a storm of violence. One journalist described it as, quote, one of the most brutal raids ever witnessed in the city. Men, women, and children were beaten and dragged out into the cold. The feds took 200 immigrants from the Russian People's House that night. Nationwide, the tally varies depending on your source, but it's safe to say many hundreds and likely over 1,000 people were arrested that night. Now, here are some very disturbing details. Reports from the time indicate that the feds had very few actual warrants during the raid. Moreover, roughly 75% of those arrested were not even related to organizations under surveillance, nor had they committed any crime. They were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. And sadly, of course, many couldn't speak English to defend themselves. Now, once captured, the detainees faced a complete breakdown of due process. Many were severely beaten, interrogated with torture, and packed into filthy, overcrowded cells where they were held for weeks or months without charges, access to lawyers, or contact with family. What began as a legitimate hunt for very real bad guys quickly devolved into a broad system of indiscriminate, lawless abuse.